Hi, this is BRR. In this video session, we'll discuss about what is this mobile first design approach technology. So this is the most, the prominent buzzword nowadays in the internet world. Everyone is discussing and, having a debate on mobile first approach towards website development. So what is this mobile first approach and the website development? So as you have probably guessed from the name of this approach to site design, mobile first means designing an online experience for mobile before designing it for the desktop web. So the name itself says what means. So you have to design a website for the mobile smartphones first, rather than considering the desktop applications, desktop web. That means first of all you need to design a website towards the smartphones and mobile devices and small devices, and then after that, and the second thought, you think about desktop web application is nothing but mobile first design approach. So mobile first strategy is trend in website development, where designing a website for smartphones, tablets and mobile devices takes priority over desktop web design. So this mobile first design approach, basically a trend is, the designing of the content or the page website, where it involves designing for the smartphones, tablets and mobile devices in the first priority, and then considering desktop web as the second priority. So design of smaller screens first, then add more features and content for bigger and bigger screens is nothing but, the mobile first design approach. Also, this design approach is known as progressive enhancement. So according to the recent researches, desktop only has been on a pretty steady decline since 2014, dropping from, the 19% to 10.5%. On the other hand, mobile only has been on the rise with no expectations to slow down. So considering this trend, desktop viewing may no longer be the norm. Therefore, it's important to optimize on the devices your audience is using and not those they are not. So nowadays, everyone is using in mobile devices, smartphones, tablets. They are looking at everything on those devices instead of at the desktop web systems. So while you're designing a website, you need to consider all these things by looking at this particular research information. Okay, so there are plenty of researches happened out and finally found that, the distinct benefits of designing for mobile first approach is, so far we have been heard about several things like mobile friendly, responsive design, and mobile first approach. So these three are similar, but definitely, differently have a rendering, has a different rendering at the same time. So before we look at mobile first approach, we'll look at mobile friendly and responsive design approaches, and we'll see differences so that, we'll be knowing what is the priority of this mobile first approach. So initially, we'll look at these three things. Like before mobile first approach, we'll be having mobile friendly approach. So what is this mobile friendly approach? If you look at this next slide, we'll have the mobile friendly approach concept here. So the term refers to a website that allows users the usability to do just about everything on mobile device as they would on desktop, with minimal effects on site loading time and functionality. So what they will be doing in the mobile friendly design is, so they will be considered the website development for the desktop publications, desktop web for the first priority, and later they think that this should be a mobile friendly and should work on this mobile devices. At least the loading and the functionality properly works with minimal effects kind of thing. They think and they have adapted this changes to the website, which is known as mobile friendly design. While it may not always be possible for mobile version of website to mirror every single function of the desktop version, a mobile-friendly site typically aims to meet the majority of its mobile users' need. So, what we look at this mobile-friendly approach is, so initially we developed this website for desktop web missions, desktop versions. So later we'll think of to satisfy some of the mobile users. We'll make some slight changes to the website and make it as mobile friendly thing and pass it to the mobile users. So in this process, only the aim of this website developers is they think that like the site is rendering and the minimal functions are working or not kind of approach they have, and they went like that and they change something and they give it to the mobile users. So and they say that this is mobile friendly design. So they will not think that this mobile the users primarily they think only primarily the desktop users first, and then they think of mobile users by putting some minor changes, and they say that this is mobile friendly design. So that way this was come into the picture. For example, while the desktop version of website might have a large like no hero images on the home page, the mobile version will likely scale down the size of these photos or remove them together. Similarly, while a desktop version of website might display photos horizontally across the page, but mobile version may display these photos vertically. So these are the things we have seen in the website development in the earlier, like because we are only concentrating on desktop versions but not on the mobile versions. So and but we are saying it is mobile friendly and you can use in mobile devices. But when you look at the designing or rendering of images, we'll see some scaling down the size of photos or the images like vertical and horizontal, and some of the divs tag rendering, span tag rendering, and some of the screen resolution is differently rendering on the mobile device. So many problems we'll be seeing in the mobile friendly design because we only concentrated on this functionality is working on mobile or not, but the rest of the things we are not looking at this particular area in this particular approach, design approach, because our target is only desktop version but not mobile versions, mobile devices. So we are only giving a compatibility to the mobile user to look at the functionality on the mobile device, but not entire thing which is going to work in the mobile device. That is what mobile friendly design can be called as in this context. So when mobile friendly design first became popular, many business were rushing adopt their existing websites to meet the required for functionality. So websites that don't consider mobile users will unlikely see fewer and shorter widgets and lower engagement rates as a result of the longer load times and limited functionality that mobile user will experience. So when mobile friend design first design approach has been introduced, so it was became more popular, and many business persons and many business organizations so rush into the technology and they wanted to adopt this existing websites into this mobile friendly design, and they wanted to browse in mobile devices. But the website that don't consider mobile user will likely see fewer and shorter widgets, so and lower engagement rates as a result of longer load times and limited functional that mobile user will experience. So when everyone is coming to this, using of this mobile friendly design approach, so websites, some of the websites which are not considered mobile users likely like only fewer are using a mobile devices for fewer websites. So on the longer run time, so the websites have more number of requests and load times are more, then the limited functionality has been worked out and other functionalities are not working out because they are concentrated on only for the desktop versions. So then automatically the limited functionality has been produced to the mobile devices, and putting some guidelines and restrictions to the users, mobile users, saying that only these things are working out, some kind of thing. They'll put it and they will release into the market. So this is how the mobile friendly design approach has been introduced and became a the buzzword in the world initially after that desktop versions development. So because they are only considering on the website this for desktop web versions and then making some minor changes and giving it to the mobile devices and saying like this is compatible for the mobile devices. That way they are making the buzzword to the world. But when it comes to the real scenario reality, so it has the provided only minimal functions, and when using of users are increasing and when using of this websites on the devices are more, So only limited functionality has been seen, and this is what the experience in mobile friendly design approach. So coming to the next one, a responsive design approach. So this is the complete diagram, like mobile friendly approach, how they have been started. Like initially they targeted for these desktop versions, and then with minimal changes they targeted for tablets, and then they targeted for smart devices kind of thing. That way they have adopted this mobile friendly design approach. And coming to the responsive design approach, if you look at this responsive design approach, not only covers the previous problems or previous issues, the idea of mobile friendly design approach, but it is a broader buzzword used to define the designing of web pages for a variety of screen sizes and orientations. If you look at the mobile friendly approach, so as we discussed, it is only giving the functionality but not looking at the design perspective, like the images which we discussed. Like some of the images are working on the desktop web version might not work on this mobile devices in the mobile friendly design approach, where identically appearing in the web version, and in the mobile they may appear in vertical version, and scale down of size can be reduced, and it will drag, and it will you know increase, and it will increase the image, and having a causing a problem of the clarity on the image, kind of problems we have seen in the mobile friendly design approach. So those things can be covered in this responsive design, but also it has some features uh, specific to the responsive design approach. When a website is built with a responsive design approach, the goal is to provide an optimal viewing experience for all users, no matter what type of device they are using. So when they start developing this website, so with using a responsive web design, they will look at all these two scenarios: desktop version users and mobile version users. Two users they will be considering during documentation, and they start developing in this approach. But when you look at the mobile friendly approach, they only look at the desktop versions, but not the mobile user devices. But they say compatible with minimal changes, but it gives some problems, like in the sizes of my images and the rendering of website width and height, and some more the other problems as runtime. But when you look at the responsive design approach during the website development, they will look at both aspects, web version and mobile version. So they look at both aspects, and they will consider both devices they start developing. So the main difference between the two web design approaches is that mobile friendly design was originally seen as a second thought of or add on an existing website. So as I told you, mobile friendly design approach only looking at the desktop versions, but the mobile users are the second thought or add on to an existing website with minimal changes. That way they may become saying that website is compatible for mobile friendly design. But when it comes to responsive design web page, this responsive web design method used from the beginning of the web development process, that is what the starting of website development they will consider as web responsive web design approach, and they redesign the website to compatible with all mobile devices as well as desktop devices. Although these terms are fairly similar, it's important to understand the difference between them when talking about the history of web design over the period of development goes with the responsive design approach. So we should remember this difference, because if you look at the earlier approach, mobile friendly approach, we'll only considering the desktop versions, desktop devices, but not the mobile devices. But we are saying it's an add-on and an existing website. But when you look at the responsive design, we should consider both devices during the starting of your website development and put the relevant things on the development, but not later stage. This is the main difference. You have to note this in the responsive design approach. So okay, hope this understand the difference between mobile design approach, a mobile friendly approach, and responsive design approach. Okay, now coming to the mobile first approach. This is what our main topic of mobile first approach. For a long time, website design first focused on creating the most optimal user experience for the largest screen size as the user would be on, such as desktop screen. So initially, website design focused on this desktop screens, and later and they move into the mobiles and using different approaches. But after a long time, so we have been developing things in reverse way, designing for mobile first and then looking at the desktop version. So because in the mobile first approach, we only considering the rules and guidelines for the mobile devices first. And that means development will start compatibility to the mobile device towards the mobile devices first. Designing for mobile first takes the age-old habit of designing the biggest possible screens first and designing for the smallest possible screen first. So we'll start development towards small devices first. That is what mobile first design approach. And then going on, we look at other aspects of the devices which are bigger than the starting device, and then going on desktop versions. So this is what the the revolution come into the market with this approach, mobile first design approach. So with the rise in the popularity of mobile website viewing, mobile web design provided an alternative to the main desktop viewing experience. Thus, responsive web design was born as a solution to having to create multiple web designs, one for desktop, one for mobile, etc. So this is how the responsive web design was come into the picture to provide a solution to create multiple designs for desktop is one and mobile is one. The method of designing for mobile first takes the one step further and is based on the idea that the optimal viewing experience should be on mobile devices versus desktop devices. So this mobile first approach has taken one more step ahead, and they came to the industry, looking at the design perspective, like in the response design solution approach, and they have made some changes and they have taken optimal viewing experiences on the impacts of responsive design, and they start developing on the mobile devices. So this is how they, idea that the optimal viewing experience should be on mobile devices versus desktop devices. They have been differentiated in the mobile first approach. So this clears like what is mobile first approach and how it is going to start while you developing a website compared to earlier approaches, this response design approach and mobile friendly approach. Okay. So there are benefits we have seen in the mobile first approach. Like if you want your users to have a best possible experience on mobile and desktop devices, designing for mobile first is the way to go first. So that the mobile users can definitely think that if something is working on mobile device, definitely that will work on desktop website or desktop versions. So you won't have to worry about there being mobile features constraints or slower loading times when using mobile device. So we should not worry about this because we are considering mobile first approach in this context when you start designing a website. So we are not worrying about the features and the performance aspects on mobile devices. And second thing is, by considering mobile first approach, we are able to meet mobile users requirements on the most basic level because of the constraints of both performance and the landscape of the mobile platform. Definitely. So we'll be having more number of the things which can be feedback by the mobile users in the mobile platforms. So and when the development has been done considering this mobile first approach, so we'll meet several things on the mobile platforms and we'll leverize all these things and build a good platform for good website for mobile users, so that it is very prominently works on both versions, desktop versions and mobile versions. The mobile user has a device which is not only smaller in terms of real estate, but it is also frequently on lower connection speed or limited data plan. So based on the plan or based on the usage, so we should not think that the mobile user has a device which is not only smaller in terms of real estate, but it is also frequently or lower connection speed or limited data plan. Essentially, it forces us to become more focused and direct with our content, which will produce the quick. So if you look at the users, they may have a devices which has a lesser plans and bigger plans. Based on the plan, they will get the data, based on the plan, they will get the speed of internet, and with that, your application gets responded, and essentially it forces us to become more focused and direct with our content, which will produce a kick. So we should not, consider that like mobile users has a device uh, based on the this data plans or the connection plans, say that it is a smaller or bigger. So basically, we have to forces or those devices forces become more focused or direct with our content only. So how the content is being downloaded on these devices in these different plans, data plans, which they have on mobile devices. So they will forcefully, move us to become more focused on our content, which will produce a big reaction, big development towards the website design. So these are the benefits of designing this website using mobile first approach. So hope this clears like what are all the earlier approaches before this mobile first approach, how they are going to shake the industry. Now how this mobile first approach is going to take forward to reduce or avoid some of the phenomena or difficulties on these earlier approaches and new advantages in the current development. So hope this clears like what is mobile first approach. So please subscribe this YouTube channel to see more videos on this responsive design and mobile first approach on different technologies. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Yes.